Testing, testing. Okay. We are live. Oh, it's cold. I'm freezing. All right. Let me see here. Let's pull up I might go live here. Sorry, I might go long here. I might go live. Gotta clean that bad boy off. All right. We're gonna take a long here. We're off the value low. We're seeing some cumulative volume delta go up. Our stop loss will be there. Our take profit will be there. This could work out really well, or this could just come down and break the low. But we are in a kind of a balanced day so far. And it looks like buyers are starting to kind of step in here. He's try to see some aggressive sells here, and they're getting eaten up. So this could be possibly a good trade. I'm going 355, so 3, 6, 9, 12, 1 to 4, more or less. I'll move my stop when it comes somewhere above here. So we'll see. You can see them protecting buyers here. And then we just wait and see if this is an entry that. Oh, it's cold out lately too. I'm freezing. We just gotta see a nice push up. If we see sellers start to get aggressive here, then my stop will be hit. But you can see all the aggressive buying. We're in a value area low. Not even counting that, we're also look at this buying node down here, and there we go. That was crazy. All right, we can move it there. Lessen the risk at this point. Since we broke above this, I'm probably gonna move my stop just to protect myself early. Yeah, I'm gonna move myself early because once we break above this right here, this is where buyers got absorbed. Once we break it back above that, it'll probably accelerate to the value area high of this zone, or possibly even higher. But value area high is where I'll take my exit and call it a good trade. But we're protected at this point. Comes back. If it goes up and hits, power to it. So this is just a clear example of, you look at the volume profile, we had a huge amount of buying here, another value area low. You bought here again, we went up, and then we came down. Sellers tried to do, we absorbed again. Try to sell, they absorbed. Buyer stepped in, pushed down, sellers tried to push one more time, buyer stepped in one more time, and then I caught in right in between this area when it pulled back. So I think I caught it actually at a perfect time. But I'm gonna go get coffee. I'm gonna let this roll, and then yeah, we'll see. So now we're protected, and we're gonna see this push back above where this buyer's last had. All right, look at this. We're gonna push. We're gonna have to force these sellers that came in here and sold us off. They're gonna squeeze them between this area. Then we're gonna have acceleration back up to this point. And then if I hit this trade, I'll be done for the day. It'll be like a quick 30-minute stream. We'll call it a good day, and then I'll probably go hit the gym, do something else. But yeah, it's so far looking like a fantastic trade. I'm gonna grab coffee. I will be back. I'm back. So the sellers ended up having a failed auction here. You can see the aggressive buying, and they held it up right below that area, like I told you, where they had a break to squeeze them out. Once they squeezed them out, then sellers took back control and they closed below, and then we'll see what happens here again. This is going to be the most important area here, right here at the value area low. The reason being is because it usually stays between this range around 70% of the day. For in terms of trading, it stays between this range 70% of the time, between here and here. So basically, what I want to see here now is sorry, let's check some. Basically, what I want to see here now is either it aggressively buy again off these value area high low, or we see a break and then you see aggressive selling, and I could take a strong sell. We're gonna wait for probably a break in one of these directions, but I want to probably take a trade off, fade it off one of these value area low right now or the high, depending on how we look at this area right now. Let me just see what the daily volume profile looks like. It's somewhat similar. Yeah, it's exactly similar. Okay, so that's good to know. We'll see exactly how this plays out here. It could come back up and make one more push and then squeeze these guys out and then move up to this area right here. Because that would be my target. But there's going to be sellers right here because they already pushed down. They're going to be trying to making these buyers cover and close their positions. So I want to see what it does right here. If we get a strong sell and it comes like down to here, then my bias might change to shorts right now. But we haven't been able to break this, so we're in range. So I'm just going to be honestly just fading area to area. I think that's going to be the best way to trade right now. I'm going to put one more position right here. This is going to be one last area that we'll put a small risk here. Take profit will be up here. Again, this will be the last buy bullet. It needs to respect to fill. And if not, I take a loss here. It's cool. It's a small loss. It's like $275. But you can see the one thing I do like here is cumulative delta is building. Even as we're coming down, it's building. So this is a good sign that these buyers are probably going to work out and it's probably going to come to the value area high, which would be a nice target to hit. This may spike down though, and we'll see. Sellers are hitting it pretty hard here, but buyers are absorbing right in this area quite a bit. And you have massive amount of buying down here from the previous area. So what I'll do is I'll just place it right below there. 330. If this closes back above here, like we close above this buy bubble and we move and make these guys pinch these guys out with a squeeze, then I'll be solid. This will definitely take profit. But this is the area where you want to take a trade off of somewhere in this value area low. And there we go. We're starting to get the nice push. Hopefully we need a strong push above here and then one more strong push above there. Then I'll feel more comfortable. Once it gets above here, I'll move my stop to break even. Then once it gets above here, I'll start to trail my stop. What's up, bud? Wanna close the door? Please. Thank you.
I think my EDR should be good now.
You which one?
My EDR charger almost done.
Yeah. Go ahead, you can check it out. Yeah, it's probably charged. What, it died light yesterday?
Yeah.
Playing too long?
It was when I was playing the Gorilla Tag.
You're playing too long.
Died. I was there for like 20 minutes or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That was draining fast.
It should stay on for a while.
10 minutes, it was already 10%.
Yeah. Okay. Now, what we're seeing here is, oops, I didn't mean to put that. Now what we're seeing here is we are actually seeing buyers starting to step in more. Cumulative delta is rising in this area, which is the buyer low, which is a good sign for me. Um, Once it closes above here, then I will move my position to break even. I can even lessen my risk even more. I can go like this, only risk 190. But this is right here is a good example right here. It's yeah, we're making lower lows, but this is just constantly pushing up and we're not breaking the low. So and we're near a good area of value low where there's a lot of buying going on. So Delta is showing me that okay, buyers are willing to step in here and they're starting to step in more and more. So it's an opportunity to buy. It's just presenting itself. So I'll probably move my stop as soon as it touches 709.97. I want to see what it does between this gap. All right, I'm back. That was not a good selling there. That was some heavy selling pressure there. What I might do here is I might just close for a small. Yeah, this might be a smarter decision to close for a small loss because that was not a good reaction. Sellers are starting to win the battle, you can tell, because buyers try to push and they just immediately get jumped on. So, um, okay, got to make an executive decision here. I'll let this candle close and see what happens here. If not, I'm just going to close it. Okay, Delta's getting more negative, but we'll see how this closes. If this can close back above, then I might be okay. It's starting to get absorbed a little bit. That's not bad. That's not bad. Okay, I'll just hold this for a little bit. My risk is already in, so I don't mind. This is not a bad trade. This is a great trade taking the risk. Um, I need this to close above this to move to break even. This to start to trail my stop. Buyers they had a cover here. Sellers took over control, so there's positions somewhere in this area. Buyers aggressively bought again, so they probably loaded up again. So this is going to be a big squeeze right here, and then if it squeezes, it's probably going to jump to up to this value area high. So currently up down $7 just because of a break-even trade. It had slight slippage, but um, we'll see as it pushes above 709 and then 718. But you are getting aggressive buying, huge amount of delta volume down here, and delta's growing. So all of it's looking really good. Okay, so good wick. Um, I need to see this close above, and then just continue to move into this gap. Then once we see that, the closure of that, you're going to see acceleration. You're probably going to see aggressive buys if it's true to the move that's going to go up. You're going to see aggressive buys form right around here, and you're going to see acceleration up to this point, and then you'll see some resistance when you get back up to this area. Because realistically, I could get out right here. I'll do it right there, just for the sakes, because this is another. You see the where liquidity is. There's one right here. There's one right here. I can get out here too. That might be the best area. Because it's going to be attracted to this area. This is the second most traded volume area right here between the gap. You can see it right here. So right in this area. Um, and then it's going to maybe possibly come up to here, which would be a massive trade. I'll keep it here. I think this will be a good one. This is almost $1,500, risking 300. 1, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 1 to 5, technically, if it does hit. Yeah, we'll see what happens here. So you have cumulative delta rising, and then we have just aggressive buying coming from the bottom in the value area low. So, like I said, they're starting to aggressively buy more. I don't see aggressive selling happening yet, but the sellers are still holding up quite a bit, and they're not letting the buyers move. I need to see this close here, and then close one more time above here. See, you saw aggressive selling there, okay? So, and then aggressive buying stepped in. We'll see who wins this battle right here. This is an important one. I'm just gonna go right here. I'm just gonna keep in the value low, or value high. Just that way, so if it closes back above this, I'm gonna protect myself here. If it closes back above this, I'm just gonna protect myself to break even. The reason being is like if this breaks below this again and it comes crashing down, it's probably gonna break this area and then come to the low. So I'm protected now. We close above that. Okay. Move to break even. Right where the buyers were. You should see a reaction right away. They sold. Next area right here where buyers try to push, you'll see a squeeze happen right above here. So now we initiated they're breaking into the first area where buyers last failed, and then they're gonna try one more time. If they break this, and you see aggressive buying, and you're gonna see some momentum if it does break this with aggressive buying. This is gonna be a good one. Up 350 so far, unrealized. I could trail. I could go here underneath buying and lock in 160 bucks, but right now I'm just gonna let it ride. I'm gonna trail it once it gets above this area. Once we close above this area, then I can start to trail because that's when you're gonna get more acceleration. Okay. I know it's a little bit slow here again. I I woke up late, so I didn't catch this move, which was the morning, which you could have had. Realistically, you could have taken some of these buys, but the better one would have been the sell. So you could see a group of sells here, and then finally buyers get absorbed, and then once it closes back below this, you could have put a short position in either here, here, and just wrote it down. There we go. We're about to close above that. So what I'm going to do here is this is going to be the squeeze. We'll see if we get aggressive buying here, then I'll know this is probably going to work out. If we don't, it's probably going to trade sideways for the next, I don't know how long. See that they came back up there. Sellers were present once again. So we're going to see if they're going to try to squeeze them actually. I'll go like this real quick. Just let it give it some room. At least cover the $7. So it's going to test this area one more time where aggressive buying happened. This will be an area. If it holds up here and moves, then I'll be okay. But as of right now, it's, yeah, you didn't see aggressive buying, so it's not a good sign. I wanted to see aggressive buying as soon as we got up here, that buyers were willing to pay a higher price aggressively. But as you can see right now, yep, there we go. Bummer. That's all right. Yeah, they couldn't squeeze above those buyers. No aggressive buying. Just came right back down. Okay, sideways momentum again. I might just get a coffee, wait for the next opportunity. Um, yeah, just see what happens here. I mean, we're kind of sideways in this range. It's going to break out one way or the other. We're still semi early in the day, so we'll see what happens. I'll be right back. I'm going to grab a coffee. Okay, I'm back. Had to make some coffee. I'm freezing. It's cold over here. Damn. Okay, now you're starting to see sellers starting to take over a little bit. Aggressive selling here. This could actually be a aggressive sell move to the bottom side, even lower probably. If you look at the, let's just go to the 5 minute. I know it's a little messy. I like the range bars now a little bit. It's messy. It's sideways. Obviously, if you look at the day, it's not that great. There's no follow through, especially look at here. This is bananas. This is an important area here. This is also an important area here where this buy bubble happened. So yeah, I think looks like sellers are starting to take over a little bit. We'll go 40 range. All right, my bad. I've been dealing with some stuff here, and then we're gonna hopefully have a push here. I can probably lessen my risk here. 230. Once we break above here, it'll probably be to the point where I can. It's the last area I need to cover. Needs to cover above this area. Right below here, right below the aggressive cells. That's where we cover ourselves. 1 to 4, 1 to 4. So this is I really do not like trading this time, but we are in a balanced area, so it's probably gonna fade from one side to the other. And if not, I'll take a $300 loss here, and if I win, I'll take a $1,200 win. Then we'll call it a good day. You can see aggressive selling though. They're starting to aggressively sell, and buyers are stepping in more, and the delta is moving still in the upwards direction. More aggressive buying here, which is a good signal. Willing to pay higher, then you're going to want to see the cover right above here. Ooh, aggressive sells. Look at that. 1, 2, 3 stepped in. This might not be good. You can see a seller stepping in right here where buyers were trying to initiate, and it's looks a lot stronger than buyers, but we'll see if they get absorbed here one more time. Buyers stepping in. This is a valuable area. Here we go, folks. This is going to be either the push up or the stop loss. I'm okay with either one. I'm fine with taking $300 risk. I've been up almost 3 grand in the last 2 days, so to make an additional 1,200, this will put me at 4,000 on this account as you watch me trade it live. And yeah, if I get 4,000 today, then I think I need one more day and we'll get a payout together. And I'll take the payout. I'll make a video post about it, and we'll show the deposit. So it's all about just staying calm, collected, and then yeah, just waiting for a price to show you what it wants to do. Too many people are trying to predict price, and that becomes a problem rather than just like letting price show you exactly what you want to do. All right, so we close above this, right? Sorry, we have to close above this. And I'll move to stop to break even one more time. So my third break even if it does. This is an aggressive sell, so this is a little bit worrying right here, but we are moving above it, and it did seem like it got absorbed again on the buy side. So we'll see. This will be the telltale sign right here. Whether if it closes back below, I can lessen my risk to like here, right below this candle, for $95. If I really want to be tight with my risk and just protect myself extra cautiously, but I'm gonna protect it below this area right here because if it comes down here, then we're gonna break. So I'll risk 225. Less my risk about $75. But buyers are willing to continue to protect this position, which is the value low, which is technically where price is cheap for the day in the balance area, where low, not price is cheap, I say where the lowest volume, where buyers have been buying, so for them it's cheap in their eyes. And we have a long range up. I mean, you can go all the way up to here. We could go to this area right here, and this could be a massive trade. You know what? It could go right back up to this. This is where this technically the resistance is, this band here. So or sellers are going to continue to keep pushing down, and then we're going to see a break, and then you might see a breakout trade. We'll see if they protect this area here. They're trying to protect, the buyers are trying to protect this area so they can move it higher, and then hopefully cover more positions at the top. The best possible case scenario, what I want to see is this delta get big, start to grow heavily, and the next one grow heavily. Then I could see that this is going to be a breakout to the upside. But if we go here, it's like accepting. I'm just going to go here to value area high. That's going to be the most targeted area, right in this area, because this is where sellers consider it cheap enough to sell, and then buyers consider this cheap enough to buy. Expensive enough to sell, I should say, cheap enough to buy. So we're just gonna sit on our hands and wait. And I lessen my risk, so if I do take a loss, it'll be a small $225 loss compared to the overall things of what it could be. I just don't like how Kima Delta is not building here. I mean, it is building on the long term things, but we're starting to have a little hold up here. And the reason why sellers are trying to push this position because they're gonna try to aim for this area down here. Almost $1,000 trade if they were able to break this down. But 70% of the time it's on my favor because we're stuck in this balance. And there you go. I'm gonna move my stop as soon as we close above that. We break above that, then I'll protect myself. Still having troubles. I'm not seeing aggressive buying either, so I don't know if they're willing to pay to bring it back up to this level. I really want to see aggressive buying here. You tried to see aggressive buying and they got stopped out. If you see more aggressive buying and then we see a follow through, we'll be okay. But I don't know. This is a difficult one. My guess is we're going to be stuck in a range today because it's Monday, and then FMOC minutes I think is on Tuesday, so they could be waiting for that to see what the speaker says. But at the end of the day, they're getting a new speaker, I think the first week of January. So I think the market's anticipating more of a bullish move here due to a new speaker, and there's probably gonna whether they're gonna cut interest rates or the new speaker, we'll see. They're gonna push that way. I say chairman, Fed chairman, sorry, not Fed speaker, Fed speaker and chairman. But I want to see it close above this 710, move stop to break even, and then I want to see acceleration again from this gap. Still no follow through yet. We're kind of stuck in this range. The one thing I did like to see right here which was nice, was sellers try to step in. They got pushed up again. Sellers try to step in again. They got pushed up again. So buyers are winning the battle here. Then what I'm gonna do is cover myself pretty soon here. I'm gonna cover myself right below this last failed sell. Because if this ends up coming back down again, you don't want to be stuck in this. See right here, they're attempting to try to fill, and it might do the exact same thing where it hits there and then sells off again. But as long as I'm protected, then yeah, that would be the trade to take. So I'm protected no matter what here. Right in the area I told you where aggressive buying was happening. they sold off again. So, and I don't like this this, yeah, there it is. Yeah, I'm gonna break even. Ooh, aggressive buying one more time. Yeah, and I'm out. Down $4. Um, okay, so value area low here. We have huge amounts of buying here. Um, what we're gonna want to see here now is whether sellers are serious and they push and they start to get aggressively selling down here. Um, Buyers try to push above that one area again, and no one's home. They couldn't aggressively buy above that area. I wanted to see a couple more green bubbles here and a push, but we're not getting that, and it's probably because it's right around lunch, a little bit past lunchtime. They're probably just coming back to their desks. But yeah, it could also fail here. They they could fail here and then it push back up again. And I could take a long position, but it might be a little bit later if it does end up pushing back up. I might take a one more long position. But as of right now, it's looking like sellers are starting to win the battle a little bit here, and we'll probably see a move to the downside. So at this point, they've had failed auctions. Try to buy, aggressive buy, failed auction. Aggressive buys, failed auction. And they did have sellers that kind of followed through as a so sellers technically are in control. I could take a short as soon as we break this area and catch a little scalp. Maybe let's see here. This would be a scalp right here from let's say if we get aggressive sells right here, you put it somewhere like above there. 615. That's all right. That's not bad. But I think I I thought this was going to bounce and it was going to be a little more of a play off the value area low, but we haven't got that. It's just been completely sideways here. And just check the volume profile here where you can see where sellers are building their position is right here. All this strong selling is coming off right off these areas and they're following through. So if we get aggressive sells like where I talked about right around here, then this is technically the volume profile for this range. So you have value area low, value area high, POC. So it's stuck between this range. So now what I want to see is either wait for a nice aggressive sell and then maybe catch a scalp. But my realistic play is taking it long here and catching it up here to the value area high. That's the best play is probably going to be. And the reason being is statistically speaking, inside of a range, and I'll show you so it's a little more clear. We're inside of a range, and within these ranges, we usually stay inside this range 70% of the time. So the odds are in my favor that since we're at the bottom of the range, that most likely a long is going to be the best way to go if we see some sort of closure above this and we see them forcing sellers to cover their position. That's going to be the ultimate play there. But we'll see. One thing here is that you saw aggressive buy and they did protect their position. So I'm going to try this one more. If I see aggressive buying breakout, then I might take a buy here. I'll leave my limit order there. My stop will go like right below this last failed sell. One more time. One more time. Like I said, Delta's kind of building. So I think they're gonna want to push to the upside to this value area high. So we'll remove this because I don't need to see that anymore. And then my stop will go I'll cover myself right below here. Take profit will go right above here. And it could do one of these things where it just breaks and I'm wrong. But let me check. All right. If this sell gets taken out, but this is not, I don't like this. This is not a good sign that buyers try to push, they failed, and now we're seeing sellers follow through. So I absolutely need to see this fail and push above and be a miracle, but not a miracle, but it'd be, we'll go right below this where aggressive buying happened. Right there. But right now, this is not a good, this is not a good trade. At least I'll be wrong quick and my stop loss will be hit. And it'll be my first loss for the day. If that's the case. If this sell fails, then you could see a strong reaction back up. But if it doesn't, if they fall through, which is it's falling through with aggressive sells, then yeah, look at this delta building. And that's not good. I need to see reaction, come back, close above this, and then move back up. I don't mind taking a stop loss here because, like I said, it's not a bad area to be taken long. So this could be buyers finally absorbing this area because right here is where sellers get most aggressive. And if they can protect that area, then I'll be okay. If not, I'll take the loss. And man, my stop loss placement was not too bad. But you can see them really pushing right here, this candle on the gas for the sellers. And they were following through. So this is, I have to see a reaction to this on this candle. And if not, then I'll be wrong, and I'll take that, which is what's going to happen probably most likely here because we're already down this, and sellers are starting to win the battle a lot more. Yeah, and that's it. 290. Okay, I took the loss there. I could have taken a short here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a short. I'm gonna take a short right here because sellers are definitely winning the battle here. And then I'll put a stop like right above where that last failed. Because this could just close this gap here. You know what? Nah, I'm gonna wait for this. I'm stuck in the range. I want to see what this does here. Most likely this is gonna work out, but oof, down 290. Yeah, look at that. And there we go. Seeing more aggressive selling. Damn, that would have been a good, decent trade. I could have recovered probably most of my position here that I lost. Buyer stepping in right there. Seller still winning. Yep, like I said, we got aggressive sell here. You could have covered 86. At least 200 bucks here, you'd be up. We'll take one position there. We'll go right below here. We'll go right here. And this is divergence. You see here to here. This is extreme divergence. Sellers have became less likely here to sell their position. So, or less volume, I guess you would say, on the seller side. And there we are. And this is a big range. If this comes right back up to, this needs to close above this position, and then we could see, like I said, acceleration. That's what I want to see so bad, is aggressive buying acceleration. But we'll see here. We'll see what happens. This will be, see if this buy bubble holds up. If it doesn't hold, if this continues to accelerate, then we'll be okay. But it seemed like they tried to get sell and the buyer stepped in and they closed back above. Delta's building, absorption here. We need to close above these two candles right here. This is the most important one right here. This is where they try to accelerate it even further, and then let's do daily volume profile. That's the value low. So this is technically the last area. Yeah, this is the last area where you defend long. If this doesn't get defended, then we're shit out of luck. Then they're just gonna aggressively sell after this point. I'll close this off so it's a little cleaner. They need to cover this position. If they close back below this and it gets aggressive, yeah, this position's done. I'll take a $175 loss, which is not too bad. For a $1,500 win, if it does. But it looks like they're failing here. Down below, slightly below there. But it's not looking good right here. I thought this was going to close. I thought we were going to move. Last push here. If they do it, they don't. If not, I'll take my second loss for the day. I've had, what, 3 break evens, 1 loss. My second loss. Absolutely no wins here. And this will be my first loss where it's just like pretty much just moves directly against me. We'll see how it closes here. Buyer stepping in again. They're really going to try to protect this area. This is like the area they've been really trying to push. Come on, close above. Yep. That's perfect. That's what I want to see. Exactly what I want to see. Perfect. All right. This is good. This is exactly the closure I wanted to see. and we could be at the bottom of the actual trade, which would be solid. So this level right here is where you want to see the closure above if buyers are serious about it. Yeah, we're at extreme area here, and the next area is going to go up to here. If we end up moving to the higher side, but we got to see this close. This is the area where right there, right above that, right above that bubble is where we failed. So not the best sign, but this is also extremely divergent, and we're near the value area low. So long's definitely in play. Um, I'm down 300. Well, it was 290, 280, but I took this trade, so it's like $10 commission. So 300 technically down for the day. If I do hit this trade, it would be 1500. I'll walk away with 1200 for the day, and then I'll call it a good day if it does hit. But since we're in, like I said, we're in a balanced market, so we should see it go between balance to balance, which is value area low to value area high. And this is a classic example of this made a technically a low, but here we didn't. So sellers are starting to slow up here a little bit. If you're starting to see it, you would start to see aggressively sells build up as we're coming down. It would be like down to here, which would have been, I would have been more inclined to take a short at that point. But I know this is the price action's horrible in the areas I'm taking trades in, to be honest. I'm surprised I honestly did as good an entry as I did, but yeah, 690 is what we have to close above. And then if we close back above this area, I'll move my stop to break even, and then I'll trail it as we go up and try to recover some of the profits, and then try to hit full take profit here. But I really won't trail it until it gets like here, because there's a bunch of sellers in this area, right in this little range. If we go from here to here, yeah, low volume nodes right in that area. Sellers, huge amount of sellers here too, right above it in the previous range. So we'll see. We need buyers to kick back in. Overdrive. Come on. Come on, buyers. I know you're trying to protect this area. Let's see more aggressive buying. Yeah, this is usually the time I do not trade, but I woke up late, and if I eat a second loss here, then I might just call it a day. The key is just to walk away when you take 2 to 3 losses and just come back tomorrow. I'll still be up like 2,500 almost from the last 2 days if I take this loss here. Right now I'm like 2,700 or something like that, right? I think right now, because I made around 3 grand the last 2 days. So take a small loss for today, and then I'll just move on for tomorrow. We'll see how it plays out. If there ends up being a good setup, then I possibly might take it shortly after, but we'll see. Yeah, this is not good. Sellers are aggressively selling the bottom again. I want to see this get absorbed, but you can see that the volume starting to shift again to the seller's control. And they're aggressively selling the bottom one more time, this is not a good setup for. I'll most likely take another stop loss here. Yeah, this is for sure probably most likely going to hit my stop loss. Unless they can really protect this area, which they might. Um, then we'll see. It doesn't look too bad right now. They're trying to protect a little bit, but whenever you see this again where it comes back down, you get aggressive sells. Usually that's a bad sign that it's going to break out. Then we'll probably close below. This could even end up being aggressively even more coming down to like even sub six, like right on low 600s rates. Yeah, and there we are. And we hit. Oh, oh, hit. Oh. It's playing with me right now. I might have had the perfect stop loss. If this ends up not getting me out and it moves up, I'll be absolutely shocked. What value though? 240. Right there. Boom. And it tapped. Okay. Well, that's it for me. I'm done. I'll call it a day. Minus 500. Not a horrible day, but